What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here, and I'm back from vacation. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to see you guys. I heard there was so much Halo Infinite news coming. Oh, come on. Internet browser, come on. There we go. Yes.
So to that end, one of the reasons that we're here today as well is I want to talk to you about the campaign side of the game, specifically campaign co-op.
So, it's gonna be like mine.
God damn it!
Well, I got good news and bad news.
Unfortunately, we made the really tough decision to delay shipping campaign co-op for launch.
And the good news?
That was the good news. Bad news is...
We also made the tough call to delay shipping Forge past launch as well.
I am a sad boy.
That's a one-way trip.
We all make it sooner or later. Better get going, Six. They're gonna need you down there. Tell them to make it count.
As you are no doubt aware, 343 Industries dropped a Mac round in atmosphere and told the world Halo Infinite would not launch with campaign co-op or Forge on December 8th. These things are planned to release 3 and 6 months after launch, respectively.
Just the why, like why was this a decision?
You guys remember this whole article?
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
Yes, I know this is old news for some people, but I haven't had a chance to talk about the direction Infinite is going in. To those of you saying that this is not a deal breaker for you, I'm so happy for you. I was afraid something like this would happen. Infinite has been looking extremely promising this last year. Too good to be true, in fact. Acting male? What's the big deal? Co-op? What even is that? And Forge? Why don't you just play Minecraft if you want to build something? To everyone else who's trying to downplay the importance of these features, you obviously don't know what the ladies like. It is objectively bad that Infinite won't launch with co-op or Forge. And while it's not a deal breaker for me in the sense that like, oh, I'm not gonna play it now, it is very disappointing. Whether or not you're okay with waiting for these features, you cannot deny the negative consequences this will inevitably have. Especially since 343 does not have the greatest track record of delivering content in a timely, non-glitchy manner. But we'll get into that. So the question on your mind, why is co-op and Forge so important to Halo Infinite and to the franchise's identity? Being the boomer fan that I am, and having started with Combat Evolved in 2002, I am well equipped to answer this question. Two of the best things any video game can do is allowing you to experience it with a friend, and putting the tools to create new content into the hands of the fans. Without co-op, millions of people would have never been introduced to this franchise. Without Forge, how much shorter would the lifespans of Halo 3 and Reach have been? How many custom games would not have been played?
This is the stuff that's going to keep people playing for years on end, that's going to make a billion hours get logged on Xbox Live. This is the thing that is going to really set our game apart from the rest, I think.
And these are features that were packed into their games on day one. That's what's important here, folks. That's what pissed me off so much about Halo 5. We just had to wait for everything to come out. Infection, Griffball, Forge, Big Team Battle. Most of 5's content released after the game did. And I just don't like that system. Especially since game sales and player populations are almost always at their peak immediately after release. And then, everything just kind of slowly goes down until you get some bumps with updates. But between now and those 6 months, thousands of people will probably put down the game and they will never experience co-op campaign in Infinite or Forge, or those custom games that come along with Forge. Halo Infinite's campaign going the open world direction is an amazing selling point. But can you understand the frustration at not being able to share that with a friend for the first time? All the lifelong memories that could have been created have just been Thanos'd. Is anyone really going to want to wait 3 months to play the campaign?
No.
Or are you and your homies going to play through it once, and then once it comes out, you'll play it together? I just realized I haven't been able to play a new Halo campaign with buddies in the same room since Halo 4 in 2012.
I'm old, Gandalf.
5 set the expectation monstrously high for Forge. And I feel like that has come back to bite 343 a bit. Because it was so advanced and incredible, naturally, everyone wants to see an evolution of that, including the developers themselves, and such a task is probably very labor intensive. But even with 5, it came 2 months after launch. And if you think about it, for those 2 months, nobody could make, create, or share their maps with other players. Co-op and Forge are two of the best features that encourage community interaction. Community interaction leads to fans being more invested in the franchise they're talking about, unless they hate each other. Fans that are more invested in the franchise are going to continue to consume product. I mean, I don't have to spell all this out for you. You know why this stuff matters. Now, 343 unfortunately has a bit of a history of being a genie in the lamp. You give them your wish and they fulfill it, but sometimes there's a catch. When we were told that Halo 5 Guardians was going to have 21 maps at launch, we were all like, holy tits on Guardian! That's more than any other game in the franchise. But what they didn't tell you was, of the 21 maps, 6 were exclusive to Warzone, and the 3 for the Assault mode were the exact same, except they cut out 50% of the play area. Of the 10 arena maps, 2 were remakes, basically the same, and another 2 were forged, so not of the same quality. 5 maps were exclusive to the Breakout mode. Over half the maps they promised were only available in 2 separate modes. So when I hear bad news like,
We made the really tough decision to delay shipping campaign co-op for launch.
it makes me think, what else aren't they telling me?
Some things won't land in a launch time frame, but some things, will just roll out over time. That's part
That
of it.
stench. I've smelled it before.
Things? Like what? Is there more? What things, Joe? Please don't break my heart again. Look, I'm not trying to be the same pissed off Halo fanboy I was way back in the day. I've gotten over that, and I don't hold any resentment towards 343, but I can't help but feel a slightly old school Halo 5 type anger rising up within me. We should not be seeing the same mistakes made in Halo 5 made again in Infinite 6 years later. On the flip side, while this is terrible news, at the very least I can say with full confidence, this is the best decision. If it's not ready, don't do what CD Projekt Red did. Do the right thing. Delay only the stuff that isn't complete, that is not in a state where it's acceptable. By the way, I will probably never forgive CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk 2077, and I will always take every opportunity I can to shit on it, so that it is remembered forever. This is the best decision right now. No, they shouldn't delay Halo Infinite another year. Are you mad? Do you know how big our blue balls would be?
But I did want to just reconfirm, and as we heard Phil Spencer, I think he made a reference recently, like this game is definitely, we're committed to releasing this holiday.
Yes.
Just look at Sketch's body language and eyebrows. He's like, ain't no fucking way we're delaying this again. And Joe too.
That is absolutely correct. We are 100% committed to releasing this holiday.
No doubt Infinite has had some trouble behind the scenes with reports of leadership changes, but they were given an extra year to iron things out. It should have been decided then that Forge and Campaign Co-op would not be cut.
Were it so easy.
Although I must admit it was a genius move to have Sketch and Joe reveal this information. Bruh, they're literally the two best people to do that. I'm not mad at 343, it's just disappointing, And I think it's even more so for the team at 343. But everything has its silver lining. Except Cyberpunk 2077. To see 343 being this transparent and honest about the state of the game gives me hope that I won't be misled come launch date. It takes balls to drop bad news in the face of backlash, like this, and no playable elites, no assassinations. At least they know the community well enough to understand how important these things are to us, and you can hear that in Joe and Sketch's voice.
Well, our number one priority is making sure that whatever we ship, whenever we ship it, it meets the right quality bar. And when we looked at these two experiences, Campaign Co-op and Forge, we made the determination they're just not ready. And as a studio, we don't want to ship things if they're not ready.
And let's be real, waiting for Forge is probably going to be worth it. There's definitely going to be forgeable AI. It's going to be ridiculous, mad, insane. With the bad news out of the way, the dust has settled around the tech preview. So let's dive into this development update video and discuss some other Halo Infinite news.
I think the fans were pretty excited to get their hands on the game.
You bet your ass I was! So Sam Hanshaw and Unishek here basically talk about how the preview went, what they learned in school today.
You can definitely expect another big scale flight like this, with even more people invited, but we're also targeting a full release of 4v4 PvP action, and we want to go even bigger and have big team battle. So those are our targets for the next flight to come.
All I have to say is, my body is ready. So then Sketch and Joe Staten hopped on the mics and hosted a mini episode of Meme Review, which was really funny.
I just want to give you a chance to check this out. I think you might have been the inspiration for this.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do befuddled very well. Just that.
Honestly though, it's great to see these two reunited and having the chemistry they have. It warms my cold heart. Luckily, Joe did confirm that split-screen multiplayer will return at launch. I dare not think what I would be saying right now if it was otherwise. Though split-screen won't be there for PC, but most PC gamers don't have any friends anyways, so not a big deal. Kidding. Gotta respect how they're handling this because trying to manage 3 different versions of Halo Infinite has gotta be challenging. They really are trying to cover as many bases as possible and provide the experience in a polished way on all platforms, ensuring that no fan is out of the loop. I've noticed 343 has spent a lot of time discussing the feedback they're getting and how they're going to use it, but I haven't seen them mention many specifics yet. Oh! There's an update post. My. The whole Halo Infinite team is in shutdown mode. This means we're done with feature work and focused on crushing high priority bugs. Well, if that's the case, then it sounds like co-op and Forge are the last bad news we should hear about Infinite. Ooh, what's this? Metal changes? Now that's what I like to see. The old, we hear your feedback, here's the thing you want. It worked with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, it's a brilliant tactic. The new medals look sexy, the old ones were just kinda like missing a bit of personality, but medals are a big part of Halo and what makes it feel so accomplishing to get that overkill.
You're right, that's part of being a service. And the good news is, we have a year-long post-launch content and feature roadmap already worked out.
I also don't know how I feel about planning an extra year's worth of content in advance. I kind of hate the culture around live service games, but I'll make an exception if it turns out well. Now, an underrated part of Halo 5 was the themed updates they had, like Memories of Reach. Even if the content wasn't always my favorite, I like that Halo Infinite is doing this again. Give every season a unique theme and focus, and that'll make it stand out. If we get a dope trailer like this for every season, oh, it's gonna be hype AF, boy. But you know, Joe does give some good reasoning and insight behind their decision with no campaign in Forge.
Well, our number one priority is making sure that whatever we ship, whenever we ship it, it meets the right quality bar. Across all platforms, Xbox devices, PC in all its different configurations, and when we looked at these two experiences, Campaign Co-op and Forge, we made the determination they're just not ready, and as a studio, we don't want to ship things if they're not ready.
He's very convincing and forthcoming. I appreciate that. Now, if you want to hear a more detailed, less PR version of why Campaign Co-op and Forge were cut from launch, there is a post on Reddit from an alleged 343 employee. I will link it in the description. The post includes code words that mean nothing to you or I, and a potential plot teaser at the end. For now, it's still a rumored leak, but I think it's pretty convincing. Basically, Campaign Co-op isn't a thing right now because the team didn't figure out how it would work. And that actually makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought about that. In an open world Halo game, they're trying to figure out how to do open world. Now, how do you share that with 2 players? I would rather have the game not have co-op than for it to become extremely boring because it has to have co-op. Does that make sense? You guys play Destiny, right? And with Forge, the issue it sounds like was ambition. Moving to Halo Waypoint, 343 posted some more info there. They announced an exclusive Halo-themed Series X, which within 0.2 seconds had been annihilated by the Scalper army. So they talk about changes to player outlines, auto sprint options, accessibility, good stuff. Look at the audio section. It just says, positive. Players loved both menu and multiplayer music. like that's all. That's it. That's it for the music, guys. Moving on. In-game audio. Okay, this is pretty cool. Normally, I would expect a complaint like, the needler doesn't sound needlery enough, to not be given any sort of priority or even be referenced by the developers. But it's great to see that even small details are not falling on deaf ears. Also sounds like they're going to add options for how much audio and voice chatter you hear in game. I personally would like to request a setting where the only thing the Spartans say is, did some damage.
Did some damage.
Did some damage. Please make the game accessible for me. A big concern people are having is around the battle pass and progression systems. Apparently progression and unlocks are tied solely to in-game challenges, so there's no reach-like system where after every match you get some credits, you know? Honestly, I don't think it's a huge deal. It's one of those things I have to wait and see for myself how it works. But having cool incentives to keep playing is never a bad thing. Just don't make it super grindy or obnoxious like Call of Duty. Chris Raygun also makes an excellent point. We used to play games we enjoyed because they were fun and we enjoyed them. Now we play games we don't enjoy because we get to unlock a cool skin in exchange for 5 hours of tedious busy work. Modern progression systems are a crutch for gameplay that isn't engaging on its own. Halo Infinite broke ground by including bots in a Halo title for the first time ever. So, naturally, it was going to be
A little rough, don't you think?
Honestly, any issues with the bots or how they play or how accurate they are is pretty much all stuff that I think 343 can tweak before launch. Personally, I found them a bit too easy because my penis is so big. 343 does say the bots are meant to be training partners, not esports pros. But it would be pretty funny to have like a Cruel Smash type mode where they are esports pros. 343 also mentioned that they're returning to the classic style of motion tracker where the only way to hide on the radar is to crouch walk or not move. Radar is a pretty big deal in multiplayer, so I'm interested to see how the game plays this way. Let's talk weapon balance. I didn't mention this maybe, but I found the skewer to be extremely hard to hit and like feel satisfying to nail shots with. With one shot and a long reload, it's very punishing to miss with. And you don't want it to be like the binary rifle in Halo 4 where it's too easy and it's basically just a free kill. The skewer will be a tough one to balance. Honestly, the gravity hammer being controversial kinda surprises me. I think it's more or less perfect. But just give it the gravity launch physics that we had in previous games. It's just get that warthog out of here.
Get the fuck out of here!
It's kind of crazy to see a lot of the feedback they're listing as stuff I talked about. I'm not taking credit, but it's cool to see. And that's pretty much it for all the big news that's happened since I've been gone. I gotta commend 343 for being forthcoming with bad news and all this information and writing up this type of post that clearly outlines the most important feedback they got and what they plan to do with it. Yes, it is very regrettable that co-op campaign in Forge won't be in launch. Please let us bow our heads in respect. Up, now we're good. The negative effects of that may only be minimized 3 and 6 months after launch. We'll see. But let's be real here, folks. I think even the biggest 343 haters can pull their heads out of their ass for 1 second and appreciate that 343 is doing a better job than pretty much any other developer at communicating what the fuck is happening with their new game. We've gotten information on the state of the game, features, content, roadmap, updates, feedback, changes, balancing tweaks, details on upcoming flights. In the last few months, the information they've given us is stuff that everyone wants to know, and you gotta respect the transparency. So, that is the state of Halo Infinite. I am only partially a sad boy, but I'm glad to be back from vacation. Expect regular uploads to return, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Axeman for more awesome content. More importantly, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Halo Infinite in the comments below. I hope it is not a war zone down there. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Tan Man signing out. Peace!